Hello everyone, my name is Anthony Benning. I'm going to be your instructor for English 2322, British Lit 1 this midwinter. I'd like to use this video as an introduction not only to just myself, but also to Blackboard, to our course in Blackboard. That way you at least you can become familiar with its organization and its layout. As always, if you have any questions about anything within this video or anything that's within the class, please be sure and let me know. I'll be happy to answer. This is our course in Blackboard, or at least this is the student preview version of it. So I'm going to walk you through the organization in Blackboard and where everything is. As always, if you need to pause the video, please do so because I am going to try and go through this as quickly as possible. And of course, if you have any questions, be sure and let me know. Okay, so to start, the first thing that you're going to see when you get into our course in Blackboard is going to be the announcements section. Now, right now, there's only a very short welcome announcement, pretty much telling you that you will need to familiarize yourself with this organization, the course's organization in Blackboard. However, I will provide a much lengthier response on the first day of class. So announcements are where I'm going to basically post reminders about due dates. I'm also going to post suggestions and tips for being successful in the class as well. So definitely use the announcements to find that information. Next up in the menu bar up on the left-hand side is going to be the faculty information page. This is exactly what it says. Basically has a picture of myself. It includes my email address, and it includes a phone number where you can text me. Now, emailing and texting are going to be the best ways of getting into contact with me, or at least they're going to be the quickest ways of contacting me. You can call this number, however, it is a Google Voice account, so if you do get a message, or at least if you do get a voicemail box, then please just leave a message and I'll call you back as quickly as I can. Since this is midwinter, this number is probably not going to be very useful to you because it's the number to my office at OC's campus. And since this is midwinter, I'm not going to be there very often. So, however, if you would like to meet one-on-one, I am available by appointment. All you have to do is just contact me and we can schedule a time that's convenient for both of us. Okay, moving on, going to course information. So the first thing here is going to be the course syllabus. So the course syllabus basically contains all the legal and necessary information for students regarding this course. I definitely suggest going over the whole thing. It lets you know a little bit more in detail what's expected of you in the course. However, I'm not going to do that here because that would take a very long time. Okay, next up, the most important thing here is going to be the course schedule. I have written out what I expect to be accomplished with every week of the midwinter term. So the very first thing that you'll notice is that each section is separated into weeks and to modules. In each week, you'll have a reading assignment, which is listed here first, and there is a due date. This is more of a suggested due date. That's usually tied to one of the assignments that you're going to have to accomplish that day. So try to at least have the reading finished by by this day. Now, Beowulf, it may seem like that's a lot of reading. However, I do ask you to skip a few things. So you can skip the songs; those are in italics, and you can skip the section that's usually titled Beowulf Returns Home. Now, directly beneath that is the writing assignments and when they are due. So the first week is going to be a little assignment heavy, mainly because we have so much to accomplish. So for example, I would like us to do an introduction discussion board. So the original posts are going to be due Tuesday, December 10th, and the replies are going to be due Wednesday, December 11th. And then following that, you're going to have assignments due on Thursday and on Friday. So this is going to require you to have a response to the week 1 Beowulf discussion board, and then you're going to have to post replies on Friday. Now the rest of the weeks are not going to be quite as heavy in terms of having something due of every single day. However, the assignments are going to be more complicated and more involved, so you will definitely need to plan your work accordingly. All right, moving on. Next up is going to be coursework, and this is where you're going to be spending most of your time in the course. Each section is separated into modules. So you've got Module 1, Old English Literature, Module 2, Early Modern English, English 16th Century, Module 3, the Research Essay, and the Final Exam. We also have here down at the bottom a folder for MLA videos. Now I'll go over at least 2 of these, or a couple of these folders here, so you can see how they're going to be organized. Module 1 and Module 2 are going to be pretty much organized the same. Module 3 only has just 2 things in it, and that's the research essay and the final exam. So let's go ahead and take a look at Module 1. In Module 1, you'll see 3 folders. One for readings and presentations, one for discussion boards, and one for the first essay. In the readings and presentations folders, you'll find the PDF files for Beowulf. This is from Seamus Haney's translation of Beowulf. This is the one that I'm pretty much going to refer to myself whenever I write responses to your discussion boards. So I would definitely suggest using this version. There's also an older Beowulf presentation here that is a TechSmith relay video. However, I do plan on changing this in the future. So, however, if you would like to go ahead and get a leg up on Beowulf, you can definitely take a look at that presentation. I'm going to leave that up until I am able to actually change this presentation a little bit. And below that is the transcript for that presentation, so you can follow along by reading. I also have here too, just in case you don't want to read Beowulf on PDFs, there is a web link here to the full version of Beowulf. However, it's not the Seamus Haney translation, so it is going to be slightly different. However, it is available for you to use in case you'd like to use it. And last is a list of sources. Now this folder here is mostly going to be for your research essay, not for the first 2 essays. However, but it is there, so I would definitely suggest taking a look at it. So let's go ahead and take a look. Now this is from I copied this over from one of my longer English British Lit courses, so it does have a few sources that are probably not going to be useful for you. However, the very first few sources, specifically all the ones relating to Beowulf, are definitely going to be useful for you. So these are sources that you can use in your research essay. They are pretty much examples of credible online sources and scholarly articles. Okay, so let's go ahead and go back to this section. So that was the readings and presentations folder. The next one is going to be the discussion boards. So this is where most of your assignments are going to go. So for example, you've got the very first one for introductions, and you've got the first one, the week 1 discussion board for Beowulf. So when you click onto these links, basically what's in bold and underlined, you'll be able to see this. Now right now there's nothing there because nobody's posted anything yet. However, you will see whenever students, and I will also post at least an initial thread for the first week myself. So you will actually see my post from me there too as well. So when you're ready to write your response, you can click Create Thread. Go ahead and give it a subject title. You can do something like this, where you have introduction and you have your name. I strongly suggest using the name you prefer, so that way people know what to call you. And then you can write your response here. Now, of course, I'm just going to go, I don't know why I'm correcting this because I'm just going to cancel it, but old English teacher habit, I guess. All right, so once you're finished with your response, and you can copy and paste it, so you can write, say, for example, if you want to use Word to write your response, you can post it, you can copy and paste it here too as well. I would suggest also keeping an eye on this section here. Now for the introductions, I don't have a word count, but for the other discussion board responses, I do. So definitely keep an eye on this because there are minimum word counts for those assignments. Once you're ready to submit the assignment, you want to hit Submit. Now I'm going to go ahead and hit cancel because I don't want to submit this. I will submit something later, but it's not going to be this short. All right, so let's go ahead and go back to coursework, go back into module 1. Oh, I'm sorry, go back to essay. So that's pretty much on the discussion boards. They're all pretty much the same. So hopefully once you get used to them, they should be pretty easy to follow. All right, and finally for this folder, we've got the essay. Now, you definitely want to read the assignments, the instructions for the essay before getting started. Now, in this first two essays, I mean, what I want you to do is I want you to focus your attention on analyzing the text rather than on research. So the first two essays, I don't want you to do any research. And I do have some specific requirements for the essay. So first off, you definitely want to write, you definitely want to keep it to 2 pages, double spaced. No more, no less. So you want to try and get to exactly 2 pages, so the bottom of the second page. What I'm trying to do here is that I want you to work on being more precise with your editing skills. When you try to hit a mark like 2 pages, it does require you to decide on what is necessary and what's unnecessary. So that's what I'm shooting for the first essay. Now, also before you submit your essay, I also strongly suggest looking at the rubric, which I do have a document here that you can download and read. There's other places where you can also see the rubric too, but I'll show you that at a later time in the video. So when you're ready to submit the essay, you want to click on the link there, and instead of, like with the discussion board, writing a submission, you want to browse your computer. So this is basically, you want to attach a file, and Blackboard works best with Word documents and PDFs. So please choose one of those file formats. Right? So once you've attached your file, you should see it directly below this dotted line here. You want to check the I agree to submit my paper to Global Reference Database. This is basically going to check your work for plagiarism, and then you want to hit submit. Now you can write a comment here if there is something that you'd like for me to know when grading your essay. However, please remember that I'm not going to see this comment until I actually get to your essay when I'm grading it. So if you have something that's a little bit more pressing, you might want to try emailing or texting me instead. All right, so that's pretty much what Module 1 and Module 2 are going to look like. I'm going to go ahead and move on to Module 3 next. So as I said, there's only 2 things in this particular folder. You've got the research essay and you have a final exam. So just like with the previous essays, you want to attach a file. But again, you want to definitely make sure and read all of the instructions for both assignments. Now, everything is open, so students should have access to everything. Now, if you would like to work ahead, that is perfectly fine, especially in a fast format like the midwinter term. So please, by all means, work ahead if you'd like to. All right, now finally, in this section, we have the MLA videos. Now, I've created a series of videos for, depending on what, or at least depending on the most popular forms of word processing programs that students use. So I have here a video that shows how to format a Word document in Mac according to MLA guidelines. I also have another one. I have another one here that is for Google Docs, and I have an older one, but it's still definitely useful for formatting a Word document in PC, or on PCs. So you can definitely take a look at these videos depending on which program you tend to use the most. Now, if you have any questions about them, I'm pretty familiar with all 3 of them, so please let me know. And so I'm also familiar too with Pages and other word processing programs on computers. So please let me know if you have any questions about formatting your whatever document you're using according to MLA guidelines. Okay, next up is going to be my grades. So this is a section where you'll be able to see basically a running total of your grades. So every time you submit an assignment, you should see, when you submit an assignment, you should see a yellow circle with an exclamation point. That means you've submitted it successfully. That is all right now, it's just waiting for grading. Once I've graded it, you'll see a grade in this section here instead of this little hyphen. Right? So also too, this is a section where you'll also be able to find the rubrics for each of the assignments, except for the week 1 introductions. That one does not have a rubric. So as I said earlier, this is where a section where you'll be able to find that. Now I'm going to try and in all of the assignments, I'm going to be using the rubric in order to write my comments. So you should be able to see my comments in the rubric itself. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this one to show you it. I'm going to go ahead and expand it. So this is what the rubric looks like. Now right now, of course, you don't see anything that's highlighted because there's no grade for this assignment, but say for example in MLA formatting you get a score of an 8, right? So there's the standard explanation of that grade here, but what I'll also do is I'll also add additional comments that are specific to your essay beneath this section, so you should be able to see that here. Now I do this in order to help speed up the grading process, especially in a midwinter section. However, if you do want a more thorough explanation of your grade, please by all means let me know and I'll be happy to provide that for you. I'll even provide you with essentially a line-by-line editing kind of commentary if you would like, but you definitely have to email me in order to do that. So each section, depending on, you'll be able to use the rubric to see which sections you need the most work on. So for example, if you get, say for example, a 6 in grammar and punctuation, you know that there's definitely some things that you need to work on in that section as well. So use the rubric to your advantage. I'd also suggest reviewing the rubric before you submit your essay, so that way hopefully you'll be able to catch some errors beforehand. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at one of the longer discussion board posts. Essentially it's the same thing except for different criteria. Because I'm looking for different things in the discussion board posts. Now, in the discussion board post, you do have an original post that does need to be 200 to 300 words, and you also have replies. Now, hopefully, everybody will respond. Right now, there's only 3 students in the class, so this section here might be a little difficult. However, I am willing to actually open up the replies to pretty much anybody at this point. So for example, if a student replies to your post and then you reply to that student, that would also count too as well, since the class is so small. Okay, so the rest of this I'm not going to go over exclusively because they're essentially just extra tools. However, communication is where you can find, you can email me through Blackboard. However, I don't really trust Blackboard in terms of notifying me when I get emails from students, so please definitely email my OC account instead of Blackboard here. Blackboard Collaborate is in case you would like to speak to me one-on-one. It's basically like a Skype feature in Blackboard where we can actually do video, I can do screen sharing, as I said, but this is something that you definitely, if you would like to use it, and especially if you can't come to campus, to our main campus, you can definitely use it to your advantage there. We can actually meet here too as well. All right, so this is our course. As always, if you have any questions, be sure and let me know.